Hello dear viewers, welcome to TV Math. This is your home for clear and practical mathematics. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing to TV Math so you can always get updated and notified whenever a new video is uploaded. In our today's session, we shall be looking at item number 2 for end of term 3, mathematics, senior 5. We have so far discussed the required response to item number 1. And in case you missed this video, please check the link in the description so you can easily go through item number 1. So we want to look at item number 2. Item number 2 says a new shoes company in Uganda specializes in producing a certain brand of shoes. The production depends on the number of customers they receive each month. The company's marketing team discovered that the profit P, which is in Ugandan shillings, depends on the number of pairs sold X according to the cubic model. So this is the model that we are given. This model accounts for revenue growing linearly with sales, while costs increase due to scaling production. The sales in pairs of shoes follow this pattern. That is 300, 350, 400, and so on for consecutive months. We are given the task. As a senior 5 student, you have been approached to help the company. 1, calculate their profits in each of the first 3 months. 2, determine after how many months the company will have produced over 1,000 pairs of shoes. And 3, determine the number of pairs they must sell to maximize the profit and calculate this maximum profit. Then 4, using the series above, determine after how many months they will make this maximum profit. So that is basically the information that we are given on item number 2. These items have been carefully selected from different papers for different schools. And please, they are to help you understand how senior 5 items in mathematics are set and how they connect different topics that you have so far studied. So basically, let us look at the information that we are given. We are told that this profit here depends on the number of pairs of shoes, which is X, that are sold. So what we are given here is what we shall be calling the profit function. This is the profit function. So the profit function depends on the pairs X of shoes that are sold. So meaning X is representing the pairs of shoes sold. Pairs of shoes sold. And again, we are told the sales, all these pairs of shoes that are sold depends on a pattern. In 1 month, 300 pairs are sold. In the next month, 350 pairs are sold. In the next month, that is the 3rd month, 400 pairs of shoes are sold. Meaning that you can easily predict the pairs of shoes that will be sold in the 4th month, or that is the next month after they have sold the 400 pairs. So basically, looking at this pattern, if in the 1st month they sold 300, the 2nd month they sold 350, the 4th month they sold 400 pairs, and so on. This pattern follow a predictable pattern. So this is a predictable pattern. And this pattern here is what we call the arithmetic sequence. So looking at what we are given the profit function, which is this function here. Then we are given the monthly sales, where in the 1st month, 300 pairs. In the next month, that is the month 2, they sell 350 pairs. In the 3rd month, they sell 400 pairs. And this goes on for consecutive months. And this goes on for other months. So when you look at this pattern that is followed here, you realize this is a predictable pattern. So this is a predictable pattern. When you look at the pattern that we have, this is a predictable pattern. And this pattern is what we call an arithmetic sequence. So 300, 350, 400, they are following what we call an arithmetic sequence. So if this is an arithmetic sequence, then from arithmetic progressions, you realize that you have the term like A, which A represents what we call the 1st term. Which means when we look at what we are given, actually A is 300. The 1st cell is 300. when you talk about arithmetic sequence, then they must have what we call the common difference. So what is the common difference? The common difference, in most cases, it is represented by D. So what is D? That is the number of extra pairs they sell each month. So that number of extra pairs they sell each month, that is the number from this to this, the number from this to this. So what is there? That difference which is there. So the difference is of 50. So this is what we call the common difference. So having understood what the information that is given means, then let us try to look at what basically we need to find. So one, we need to help this company to calculate their profits in each of the first 3 months. Okay, so looking at this, let us see how best we can calculate. So part 1, we shall basically be calculating the profits. Calculating the profits for the first 3 months. The profits for the first 3 months. So all right. So this is basically a great warm-up for all of us to be comfortable with the polynomial function that we are given, which function is the profit function. So we need to get comfortable with this profit function. And for that case, we need to find the profit for the first 3 months. And to do that, we need to know how many shoes were sold in each month, which we have already been given. So we are told in month 1, that is the first month, 300 pairs of shoes were sold, meaning X is 300 pairs. So in month 2, that is the second month, then we are told 350 pairs were sold, meaning X is 350. Then in month 3, we are told that 400 pairs were sold, meaning that X is 400. So now we just need to plug in these X values into our profit function. So this function here, we shall simply plug into this given function the values for X. So for that case, we are saying we need to substitute. So we need to plug these X values. We need to plug these X values into the profit function, into our profit function. So the profit function is the Px, which is equal to 50,000 X plus 1,475 X squared minus X to power 3. So let us start with the first month. So for the first month, what will be P of X? So for the first month, our X is 300. So simply substitute 300 where there is X. So P of 300 will be same as 50,000 times X, which is 300. We shall get, again, add there 1,475 times 300, which is squared. We shall subtract 300, which is to power 3. So this will give us the profit that will be made in the first month. So let us compute that. So that will be able to give us 120,750,000 Ugandan shillings. So this will be the profit in the first month, and that will be answered. So we shall do the same for X equaling to 350 and X equaling to 400, and we also get the profits that would be made in the first month, the second month, and the third month. So let us do the same for X equaling to 350 and X equaling to 400. So following the same pattern, we shall be able to get the profits in the second month and the profits in the third month. So we shall simply substitute for X equaling to 350, we get the amount. X equaling to 400, we get the amount. So basically that is all about our findings on the profits that would be made in the first 3 months. Now let us look at part 2, which says that determine after how many months the company will have sold over 1,000 pairs of shoes. So when we come back here, the sales in pairs of shoes follow this pattern. In the first month, 300, second month, 350, third month, 400, and so on. So if this is the pattern that is followed, then let us look at this pattern very well. So the pattern that is followed is in the first month, 300 pairs are sold. Second month, 350 pairs are sold. Third month, 400 pairs are sold. So we need to know which month, that is the nth month, where the production, where the sales, okay, where the sales exceed 1,000 pairs. So we don't know that month, so that is the nth month. So if that is the nth month for which the sales will exceed this, so we need to know if you are having the first term as A, you have the common difference, then you can easily get the sales that will be made for any given month. That is UN. And UN is same as A plus N minus 1 into D. UN is same as A plus N minus 1 into D. Meaning that if I want to know how many pairs will be sold in the third month, for example, this will be the general expression I will be using, so long as you know the first term and you know the common difference. So, and since our sales follow what we call an arithmetic sequence, then we can write this. So we shall say, since our sales follow an arithmetic sequence. So it means that for any given month, U of n, that will be the number now of shoes that will be sold. The number of pairs of shoes that will be sold in any given month will always be given by this general expression, that UN is same as A plus N minus 1 into D. So we need N for which U of N will be greater than 1,000. We need the month for which the sales will be greater than 1,000. And for that case, it means A plus N minus 1 into D should be greater than 1,000. And what is A? Your A is 300. What is N is what we don't know. That is the month for which the sales will be greater than 1,000. So into D, D is 50. It should be greater than 1,000. So our interest is to get that value of N. So it means N minus 1 should be greater than 1,000 minus 300. This one divided by 50. So N minus 1 should be greater than 14. So this implies that our N should be greater than 15. So it means the month for which the sales exceed 1,000 should be greater than the 15th month. And that month which is greater than 15th month will be the 16th month. So the 16th month, it will be the month for which the sales will exceed 1,000. So we can go on and give the conclusion. So we are saying since N should be greater than 15, it implies in the 16th month, the monthly sales will be more than 1,000 pairs. So that would be the required answer for part 2. So in the 16th month, the monthly sales will be more than 1,000 pairs. So next we look at part 3. Determine the number of pairs they must sell to maximize the profit and calculate the maximum profit. So we look at part 3. So in part 3, we are looking at maximizing profits. So basically, we shall be using the idea of a differentiation, since we are talking about maximization of profits, and we also need to calculate that maximum profit. So we shall be using the knowledge of our calculus. So basically, we want to know the number of pairs X that gives the maximum profit. Here, our main aim is to obtain the number of pairs X, that gives the maximum profit. that gives maximum profit. And if you are interested in that, then it means we need to first of all differentiate our profit function. So from p of x, from our profit function, which was given as so let us copy that. That is 50,000 x plus 1475 x squared minus x to power 3. This is the profit function. So we shall differentiate this function, that is p dash of x, which is same as differentiating with respect to x p of x. So you want to differentiate with respect to x this function, 50,000 x plus 1475 x squared minus x to power 3. So you differentiate this and equate this one to 0, because we shall obtain the maximum profit when p derivative of x is equal to 0. So when you differentiate, p derivative of x will give us 50,000 plus, so drop the power, reduce the power by 1, that is 1475 times 2, then x, then minus 3x squared, minus 3x squared. So that is what we get when we differentiate p of x. So to find the critical point or the maximum point, then we must set p derivative of x to 0. So we shall set p derivative of x to 0 to obtain the critical points. To obtain the critical points. So when we do that, it means we are setting 50,000 plus, so we are setting this to 0, and when we set this to 0, we need to solve this, because this is now a quadratic equation, and get the values for x. So let us try to solve this. So we have negative 3x squared plus 2,950x, then plus 50,000, which is equal to 0. So from here we can have this as an 3x squared minus 2,950x minus 50,000, and equate this to 0. So solve this equation, and get the values of x. This is a quadratic equation which can be easily solved. So you will have x equaling to minus of this, which would be 2,950, plus or minus the square root of negative 2,950 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 5,000. The whole of this is divided by 2 times 3. So confirm whether you will be able to get the values of x as. So we shall be able to get the values of x as 1,000 and x as negative 16.6666 and 7. So these will be the values of x. So after getting these values of x, how will they help us in obtaining the maximum profit? So from here, we basically need to again test each of these values of x and see which one will give us, and see which one will give us the maximum profit. So you can do that by also looking at the nature of these points here. So if x is equal to that, what will happen? Will it give us a maximum point or a minimum point? Since we are interested in maximizing the profits, then this x should be maximizing this given polynomial function. So let us try to test. Let us try to test each of these given values of x. So we shall do so. We shall do so by first of all getting the second derivative. Let us look at the nature of the points. The nature of the points that we have. So we have our polynomial function, which was differentiated to give us p derivative of x, and we got that as 50,000 plus 2,950x minus 3x squared. So when you differentiate this for this next time, that is p double derivative of x, will give us 2,950 minus, this is 6x. So this is our second derivative. So to test for the nature of x values we have obtained, we shall use the second derivative test and we see what will happen to the second derivative. So if for x equaling to 1,000, when you substitute 1,000 here, p double derivative of x will be less than 0, because when x is 1,000, it means you are having 2,950 minus 6,000, and this value here will be a negative value. So which means that p double derivative of x will be less than 0, and that means this implies that x equaling to 1,000 will give us a maximum value. This one here gives a maximum profit. This is because this one here means maximum. When the value, the second derivative, is less than 0 or is negative, then it means that will give us a maximum point. So for that case, x equaling to this gives a maximum profit. So for x equaling to negative 16.6667, what happens to p double derivative? What happens to p double derivative of x? This value here will be greater than 0, because when you substitute this x here with a minus, then it means this will be a plus. In other words, your p double derivative of x will be same as having 2,950 minus 6 times negative 16.6667, and this value will be a positive value. This will be a positive value, which means p double derivative will be greater than 0, and this implies that x equaling to negative 16.6667 gives a minimum, profit. Gives minimum profit. So that is what it implies. So after finding out the x that will give us the maximum profit, then now we can look at the maximum profit. So for x equaling to 1,000, let us get the maximum profit. So for the maximum profit, we shall look at p of x, which is equal to, so from p of x, which was 50,000 plus 1475 x squared minus x to power 3. So we shall substitute x equal to 1,000. So p of 1,000 will be same as 50,000. This was x. So 50,000 times x, which is 1,000, plus 1475 times 1,000 squared minus 1,000 to power 3. So this will give us the maximum profit. So this will basically give us the maximum profit as 525 millions Ugandan shillings. So this will be the maximum profit. So from here, after getting the maximum profit, so it means we shall have answered part 3, where they are saying determine the number of pairs they must sell to maximize the profit and calculate this maximum profit. So let us try to give the conclusion by saying therefore, the number of pairs they must sell to maximize the profit should be 1,000. Therefore, 1,000. So basically, we shall give the conclusion that 1,000 pairs of shoes must be sold to maximize profits, and the maximum profit is shillings 525 millions Ugandan shillings. So that is all about part 3. So lastly, we look at part 4, determine after how many months they will make this maximum profit. So we need the month for which the profit will be realized. Okay, so let us also look at the solution. So part 4, the question is saying, when does the maximum profit occur? So basically, we are looking at when does the maximum profit occur. So in other words, we are looking for the month for which the maximum profits will be realized. So having looked at the sequence for which our sales occur, we are having the sales of this 300 are sold, 350, 400, and so on. So we need to ask for which months shall we get the sales as 1,000 pairs. So basically, we need to be looking at UN here, because we know that UN is the relation which is relating, which is giving us the sales that will be made in any particular month. So UN is A plus N minus 1 in 2D. So we shall refer to this. So from UN, this is the expression that gives us the sales for any particular month. That is the nth month. So from UN equaling to A plus N minus 1 into D. So we are looking at UN being 1,000. Then we are looking at A being 300. We are looking at D being 50. And we need the N, that month for which the sales will be exactly 1,000 pairs. So that is what we basically need to solve. So it means 1,000 will be same as 300 plus N minus 1 into D. So meaning N minus 1 into 50 will be same as this one minus 1,000 minus this is 700. So N minus 1 is 700 divided by 50. And N minus 1 will be same as 14. So N will be 15. So it means in the 15th month, therefore, in the 15th month, the companies, in the 15th month, the companies' monthly sales reach 1,000 pairs. Remember, 1,000 is used because this is the number of pairs that will give us the maximum profit. We reach 1,000 pairs, which gives the maximum profit, of 525 millions Ugandan shillings. So basically, that is all about item number 2, and I hope you have enjoyed the responses from part 1 up to part 4. So basically, that is all about this, and in case you find this video helpful, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share this video to your friends. We meet in our next item, that will be item number 3 in our series of end of term 3 mathematics items. See you in the next video, and make sure I don't miss subscribe so you can always be notified whenever a new video is uploaded.